Nope, it's not March. It's May.
It's
Holy
May.
cow,
Yeah.
the year's flying by. It is May 23rd. It is the Tuesday before Memorial Day for those of here in the US. And we're getting ready for a nice long weekend, hopefully filled with sunshine and barbecues and all that other good stuff. But today we're here to talk about a very complicated subject. So we're going to be going through a few different rabbit holes, a few different things. We're going to be covering, things in the digital signature space for those who didn't get the memo. But before we get to that, we got to start with a good old, hey, good morning, Michael. How's it going today?
It's going good. We always have our banter a little bit early so that for those folks that are newer to MCR, feel free to join about 15. Sometimes we're a little bit late. It's a little early for me nowadays, but join for a little banter, find out what we're doing, personal lives, and all that good stuff. But it's good over here in Arizona. We are starting to heat up finally, which is great in terms of pool season, right? Because I have a pool, which another side story, but do have a pool, excited about it. And we're ready to kick the signatures off. I do know our traditional fashion, we do try to, do more things on the fly. Jason did do a lot of prepping, so hopefully you are all satisfied with this. Also, last week was a little bit of a reveal of things that we're kind of transitioning into. We'll get more into more details, but please let us know if you liked that, learning more about Dustin and his venture into Bluebeam. In the survey at the end, there will be, and there always is a survey at the end to let us know how we're doing. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if not, we're going to continue on as always. Today, we're going to be doing training. And if you, well, it's not really training, it's banter training, I guess you would say. Our traditional live podcast of introducing into some new workflows. If you do have any questions outside of digital signatures, which is what we're going to be talking about today, always use the chat feature or the Q&A to feel free and ask. And sorry, DJ CJ, I know you sent me some. I just remembered. If you are watching on YouTube, please comment. We will get back to you. And sorry if it doesn't happen right away. Join us here live. We will get to you quicker than we will on the tube.
Exactly. And that's what's fun about what we do here is we've got a bunch of lively folks in our chat talking about all sorts of things, including proper use of totes adorbs. But that's for another day. All right. So we're going to dive into digital signatures. Now, this is a complicated subject because we get a lot of questions about, how do I do this? What's the best way to go about this? How do I have 5 people sign something? How do I make sure this is official? How do I make sure that this is whatever? So we're going to go through the 3 main methods today of digitally signing or stamping something inside of Bluebeam Review. We're going to talk about the differences, the security, things like that, and then also we're going to pass files back and forth between Michael and I to see what modifications can be done to verify these things, right? Because I've done some of these tests before with clients, and it doesn't always turn out the way you expect it to. So we're going to break down the 3 main methods, and instead of us doing things on our computer and then emailing them back and forth, we decided that we're going to start this by passing files back and forth through a Bluebeam Studio project. So bonus little tip here, I'm going to be sharing my screen in a matter of seconds, and we're going to go ahead and create a Bluebeam Studio project for Michael and I to share files back and forth, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and maximize my full screen view and get my Zoom controls out of here. And then we'll go ahead and get started. So I've got an existing Morning Coffee Review Studio project, but we're going to create something new. So if you haven't used Studio before, that's what this little house icon is here. And I am in the Review Advanced profile. So if you're in the Review Advanced profile, you will see the little Studio house icon here at the bottom left panel. I'm going to select that. And then since I'm in Review 21, it's going to automatically log me in to Studio using the same Bluebeam ID that I used to log into Bluebeam Review 21. And from here, I've got my list of projects. I'm going to go ahead and create a new one by selecting the plus sign. And when I select the plus sign, I'm going to choose New Project. And we're going to call this MCR stamp testing. There we go. Now, this is going to give me a name. It's going to give me a unique ID. where I'm going to then quickly jump in here and make sure my restriction is set. Nobody else can join unless I invite them to, which I will do here in just a second. So I have a unique project ID. I have no files. I can set up different folders and different permissions. And we've done all this before in a previous episode, but today is mainly just about getting files back and forth that I can share with Michael. So in order to share with Michael, I need to invite him. So I'm just going to go ahead and type his email since I know it pretty quick. Oh, we got a little lag going on here. That's unique. I can spell, I swear. And we'll go ahead and check that. That's good. Invite. Now he's going to get an email invitation saying, hey, you've been invited to join a Bluebeam Studio project. And from there, we'll be able to get things going. So since I already have a file, I'm going to go ahead and just drag this from my desktop. I'm dragging a file that is digitally signed. Now, what's important about digitally signed? There are 3 methods that we see and that are available inside of Bluebeam Review to sign or signify or do whatever we want, right? The first one is going to be a digital stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new file, and I'm going to digitally stamp this one. And I'm just going to use a field report template that's included with Review just to give it instead of a blank screen, right? And in my field report, I'm going to go ahead and put a picture because why not? Why not have a little bit of fun here? So I'm going to go find a picture.
Do you remember what one we did was studio projects?
Negatory.
Okay. I'll just share this one deep dive into studio for your comment of we have videos on how to do more in studio.
Okay. So I'm just I posted a picture. This popped up. I had a picture of my AeroPress and our coffee that we did. And then from here, I'm going to digitally stamp this one, right? So I'm just going to use the approval stamp that's built inside of Review. This is digitally stamped. Now, this stamp needs to be customized, right? This is where you would make your engineering stamp, your architect stamp, your landscape architect stamp, your surveyor stamp, your, hey, I'm an approver person. You can do whatever you want with your digital stamp. You can take that CAD file or vector file and make that work. You can even print it out, actually sign it, create a snapshot of it. This is a stamp of however you want it to be represented on a paper. Right.
And this is what you would say would be the least secure method.
Absolutely. This is the least secure method. However, it is still technically sealed, stamped, right? I believe the term that they say, this is you're giving your legal approval for this to move on to the next step, whether that be a city submittal or an estimate or whatever. There is a legal connotation, not with this. There's no name associated, right?
So this would be, I want it to be the seamless, easiest process to put my seal on a document. Don't care about people being able to make changes later on, because we all know that you can download it from Internet Explorer, even if it's locked, and make changes.
Correct.
Okay.
So this isn't something that you would use for mortgage documents. You wouldn't use this for any sort of financial, legal, lawyers involved thing.
Or if a state requires an electronic signature, right? You wouldn't be able to do it this way. You need to have it through.
That depends on the jurisdiction.
Okay.
Some jurisdictions will allow this, right? Because again, this is just your legal go ahead saying that I'm okay with, what I'm giving you, right? This is my legal go forward. But this, as you saw, I placed my stamp and I still added my markup here. Now that I can still make changes to this. I technically wouldn't put this until I was actually done, right? So this has come up a couple times where we've got not just jurisdictions, but offices where we've got a set of plans and we've got, different sorts of things going through a mechanical department, architectural department, and each one wants to sign off on that plans before it goes to the city submittal. Right. So that might be an opportunity for us to go ahead and drop that in there.
Yeah. So a lot of people are just saying, you can make changes. Alex said electronic signature, right? And then Liz said the entire state of Minnesota allows this right here. I'm going to pronounce her name wrong. Corey, maybe. Said you could flatten it. So yeah, at this point, right, which is funny, not funny. By the way, you can flatten just stamps by going to document and go to flatten and just not select markups. So if you wanted to keep your markups movable or editable, you could just flatten the stamps. So that's one way, or you can right click and flatten this specific one.
Exactly. So that is a part of this workflow that I wanted to talk about.
Can also make stamps with check boxes.
I'm gonna save this guy.
It just depends how it sounds. You got it. Okay, perfect.
I need 12 more windows here. So we're gonna call this digital stamp. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to, oh boy.
And just so you know, Sheldon, we are going to queue up your question. Sheldon's question is about removes background white paper. Is there a way to move the image in and automatically have the background removed? So we'll talk about that. That would be probably with the sign and seal. Well, it really just comes down to your stamp and what type of color processing you're using for the background of the stamp, like what you're bringing the stamp in as.
Right. Okay. So Michael, fire up your review and fire up join the studio.
Mine's already here.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay.
Let's have you share your screen because I want to see what you're able to do with these files. Now, notice I did not flatten it, and this is a key part of this workflow. So open up digital stamped.
This one?
Man. Yep. There we go. So it's opened. Notice the lock. He didn't check it out. You can check it out. So when you check it out, that's going to allow you to make changes. Now, can you make changes to this stamped file? Can you move my seal of approval? Yes, you can. See, that's something we don't want to do. So whenever you stamp something, so me as the person who made this document and stamped it with my seal of approval, there's one more step that needs to happen. You need to flatten it, right? If you don't
take some
flatten
pictures.
that, yeah, if you
I did some Googling earlier.
Yeah, because somebody didn't know who Willie Nelson was. So that's a whole, this is why you join early, because you should have seen the disappointment in my face. But yeah.
I do know the song, so everyone doesn't need to get that upset.
See,
one song. Okay. It's just, I'm one of those folks that you got to sing a song to me and I'll be like, oh yeah, I know that song. I just didn't know who the person was.
There you go. Yeah, I know, Bruce. I know. Well, I'm going to go see Willie in concert tonight. So that's why this whole thing got going. I'm very excited. Okay. So I stamped it. I didn't flatten it. This allows Michael to go in and make changes to it. No, David, nobody misses that. And then, so there we go. There's two steps though, since we glanced over it. We're using Studio Project. So he had to check the file out to actually make that change.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's our repository essentially of storing documents. And the way projects manages file locking is a check and check out basis. I could have downloaded it and then used it however I wanted. It still hosts all the same metadata.
Correct. So for that purpose, make sure you flatten. So since you're already in here and then you change your seal of approval, go ahead and show the flattening process just super quick here.
So you can select the seal itself, the stamp, right click, and you can flatten the individual one here, or you can go through and do documents. From documents, you can flatten. And right down here is this wonderful setting. You can just deselect right next to type, and you can actually just have it flatten stamps. Now, if I were going to send this out to somebody and I wanted a little bit more of security behind it, you could not allow markup recovery for these stamps. That way, just be aware it's all stamps. You're not just saying your seal stamp. Markup recovery means that you can't unflatten it at that point to move it. So this would be just to move it. However, if I do go through and flatten it, right, I still have my markups. Just be aware, I love to be that person to say I could have just gone and done this, and I'll copy this, bring this down, right click and paste, and there we are.
Yeah. It's not foolproof. And furthermore, you can use that erase content and remove the seal too.
Yep.
So
edit.
Boom, boom, gonzo. See, so it's not perfect, but for some phases in the approval process, it's good enough, right? So something to be certainly worried about or concerned about or aware of. There we go. That's the word. Come on, coffee. All right. So that one's digitally stamped. That's the least secure, but still it counts, right? So, and then Nelson, thanks for that comment in the chat. So remember, when you flatten things, you're going to remove all those markups from the markups list as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Also, Sheldon, to your question earlier, Jared actually gave you a response to that too. So again, you can use the Q&A area, but not everyone sees it. And that's fine if you don't want everyone to see who said it. And please put in the comment if you don't want me to say your names for them either. But you're a longtime listener, so I'm sure you don't mind. But for the option of having the background of your stamp white, right, you have the option to change the mask color. So the color process, so the blend mode.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just being aware that you can, I guess he's saying the image. So the image that's been brought in is white background. Set the value next to it 2 or 3. That should remove the white background. Okay. So yeah, when you bring the image in to remove the white background, I guess is what that is. And if you want the white background, that's up to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, Liz is saying the same thing.
So yeah, if you use a PNG file, you're likely going to get that transparent background. Or
the JPEG's probably the white one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Liz is saying for images, it's a mask. For Bluebeam snapshots, it's a blend mode. And we've done another episode all about testing out the blend modes and doing all those things. Just leave it on normal is my workflow. But there are other things if you need to get more out of it.
Yeah, I think I have a signature here under documents. Right here. Demo. Unless it's in here. Maybe it is. Nope. Okay.
Oh boy, you got files, my friend. Files.
Yeah, it's somewhere, but we're talking about the image of your signature that you're pulling in. So just being aware. Yeah, I don't have one. It's somewhere. I just have too many files nowadays. So it'll live somewhere in here. But being aware that, if you go and you grab your signature, you'll have the signature of the image of whatever it is. And it may have a background. So
there you go.
Am I passing it back?
Yep. So go ahead and check this bad boy back in.
Okay.
And when you check in, you have the ability to add a comment. Super. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then now let's open up my digitally signed file. and this one's of extreme importance. So when you open it, notice this one has been digitally signed. So digital signature. We did the digital stamp first. Now we're changing gears into our second level, second gear. And then we're talking about digital signatures, right? So this is a file that I digitally signed using the digital signature tool here inside of
which
Revu.
He'll show you. We're just jumping into like the finished part. Okay.
Yep. So you're going to get a message. The file you're opening contains digital signatures. Would you like to open the signatures tab to view the status of the signatures? Hit yes here.
And the funny part is Bluebeam calls them panels. So I don't know why they call it a tab here, but I'll digress.
Wow. Yeah. So there we go. I sent him a very important memo of my favorite dinosaur. Because as adults, we don't talk about favorite dinosaurs enough. So I needed you to know this.
Mine was
whoa. Was. What's this was stuff? Is. You still have one.
Well, I think because since we're finding out there's more dinosaurs, but
okay.
The one with the big triangles that are going up like that. It's kind of like this, and then it has a spike tail.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Yes, the elephants for scale, David.
Actually, funny enough, my little brother knows them all by their actual names, and I don't know any of them. So,
yeah,
Stegosaurus. There you go, David. Thank you. That's mine.
My youngest son, he before he turned like 8, he could just rattle them all off. Now he's
wild, right?
Yeah. Now it's all gone. But there's a scale in this picture, which I thought was kind of funny because if we wanted to, we really could calibrate a Bluebeam to scale and then measure exactly the elephant versus the ankylosaurus. But that's a whole other story, a whole other day. And thank you, Encyclopedia Britannica, for letting me screenshot your image. All right.
No, I used to watch Land Before Time, right? Is that the one with
yeah, with the Littlefoot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So the signatures panel opened up.
Yep.
And you got this, you see that this was digitally signed by me, and there's a little question mark by that seal. So what's it trying to tell us there? This CA root certificate is not trusted. Okay. This is where I don't fully understand how all this stuff works. You can download different signatures from different entities.
Did you update it after you signed it?
I don't know.
You must have. Yeah, that's why. That's why it went away. So essentially, when you sign something and no changes have ever been made, it will be green. If changes have been made, as you can see, I was able to open up his revision 1. So if I go back to here, anytime a change has happened after it's been signed, it will no longer be green. It will change to this yellow color. And then you can, it embeds a new one in itself so that you have the older version. So it actually maintains revision history within itself past the signature.
Correct. But it is still signed. So this is where this has come up more recently. If you were to go ahead and place your digital signature on here, watch what happens to my signature.
And Jared was saying that you haven't installed Jason's public certificate, so his signature is not trusted. Okay.
And it did go back to the question mark, not the, that was, you were in the other file.
Yeah, this one's the old one. So this is the Rev.
Yeah.
Okay. So original, I'll close out that Rev.
There we go. So yeah, you can install that different signature thing that would allow that to work. All right.
So from here, I could have installed certificate.
Yep. Let's see what happens. Ooh. We've gone black.
It went to like
The certificate store. Can I
it
like
went,
charge royalties? So this certificate follows, and it has that it's a 10-year expiration, which is kind of silly. Oh, so David's saying if you would have chose current user instead of all users or local machine, it wouldn't have asked for your admin rights. So yeah, hit next,
yeah.
and then hit next, and just finish.
Are we sure?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's not my computer. Oh wait. So there we go. Now that's
It
weird.
still didn't go.
Is there no refresh?
I don't know what did that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should become just as knowledgeable as I am in fish tanks now as in these certificates.
So Jared's putting in the chat, you can do it this way, but the right way would be for me. So instead of me putting this file on Bluebeam Studio project, I could have emailed my certificate. I can export that from Revu and email you my certificate along with the file that I digitally signed, right? That would allow you to install it. That adds the certification, whatever else. So
I mean, even if I were to put a document that I signed in here, I don't think it requires that, right? It's just the changes, maybe. So let me just do this. Let me put one in there for you because I know you're going to go back in. So let me go and just do file new PDF template. We'll do, did you do, no, we'll do invoice. Okay. And I'll just go and sign it and see what it says without me making changes. So we'll go here. Don't comment. Log in. Sig. No, maybe it's this. Yeah. There we go.
So notice you can have multiple IDs. So for those of you who are like a PE and an RLS, you can create a different stamp for either one of those. You can create different looks. You can have icons. We've customized all that before, and we might go back and customize those appearances towards the end today. But that's what Michael did. He signed in. He grabbed one, dropped it in there, and then now we'll go from here. So he's dragging and dropping, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's on my other screen. So 1 second.
Thanks for naming it logically. Like we got a whole
always.
theme going. That's
You're
fine. All right. So from here, I'm going to start sharing my screen again. Bounce back and forth. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and I still have that open, but notice I don't see it yet. Isn't there a refresh?
Yeah, you can right click on your title MCR. Right click on MCR. Nope, the other one to the left. Yep.
There we go. Sync.
And not a refresh.
Oh.
Yeah. So what for
Refresh.
everyone? Yeah,
Sync.
for everyone that's aware, sync caches it local. So this would be good for your iPad or your Surface Pro. Because if you go out to the field, you don't have internet connection, they don't cache until you open them. But if you sync the entire folder structure, it will cache it local to that machine. It also does a quick refresh. However, refresh is just to refresh the docs that are in there. Okay.
There we go. So I'm opening up the file that he did, and I will open up the panel and get my chats back figured up here.
Yeah, so mine is good. There's no rev to it. Oh, there is a rev one. That's weird. I wonder if it's revving because it's dropped into projects, which is a copy. That makes sense. That's
Oh,
why.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a copy of the original one being posted. So projects may not be a good thing for signing.
But this is how people work with one another, right?
Yeah.
So signer's identity is unknown. This is still checked in. I'm going to go ahead and check this out because I'm going to see if I can make changes to it, right? So we've got I'm going to go ahead and dismiss the signatures panel to give me more room here. So what I've got going on is I've got the invoice file that Michael created, then he signed it when that's his signature there. Now, you did that pretty quick. Did you select digital signature or did you do digital certification?
Signature. I didn't want to certify the document. So certifying the document, I'm assuming you're going to explain it. So
that's our third gear and where we'll get to, right?
So Jared has a lot of insight. So if you are using the chat feature and have questions about this digital certificate, seems like Jared is the man with the answers. So he was saying that if the digital ID was purchased from a third-party CA, i.e. not created in Revu, several of those third parties are part of the Windows default trust list. So the signatures can be validated without you having to install certificates.
It's 5/23/23. All right. So first thing you'll notice is I'm able to make changes. I can do whatever I want. I added text. I cannot move that signature. I can snapshot that.
Ooh, Alex, you're getting into blockchain now.
Oh boy, you guys are getting into it. So this is something to be concerned with, right? I'm taking his signature. Now, if you don't know the whatever certifications and blockchains,
How good
and
is
all
that signature though? Right.
It kind of looks like a bird. I'm not gonna lie. I see the beak and the little anyway. Got a
As you can
Rorschach
tell,
test.
I am not a professional engineer or a licensed architect. So that's my signature. I'm sure if I would have gone and done all of those, either one path, I may have refined my signature. So
yeah. Alex sees a tornado. So there you go.
I hear your kitty playing with the toy in the background.
Yeah. She's decided that it's not nap time, it's Zoomy time. So there you go. And she's off. Okay. So I've got your signature, which I am able to manipulate. I can't do anything with the original.
Have a great one, David.
Can I erase it though? I cannot. So there are differences here that I'm seeing, even though I have this checked out. I cannot erase content.
Or cut content.
I can't cut content, but I was able to snapshot and copy and paste. I was able to do markups. I was able to say, tornado or bird. There we go. So I can do things, but I can't do all the things. There are some restrictions here. Again, we're in that second level, that second gear of being able to digitally certify. I don't want to use that word because that's the next phase. But there we go. Ooh, Bob, good question. Can I put a blank white rectangle over it and flatten?
Yeah, and there's another one that Jared said that there's an option in Revu's preferences that will allow you to make content edits on signed documents.
Get out of town. White. Fill color. White. Uh-oh. Flatten. I have no flatten capability.
So let's check this preference.
Where would this be? The tools, signatures, uncheck. Okay, I'm in the wrong spot. Tools, signature.
Nope, go back. It was under preferences somewhere. Let's go to tools.
Oh, tools, signature.
There we go.
restrict changes that invalidate digital signatures. Look at that. So yeah,
uncheck
there's
it.
my
Let's see.
digital ID location. Here's my trusted ID location. And then there's different algorithms, password timeouts. Interesting. So we would want this selected.
But uncheck it. Let's see. Now,
Okay.
can you cut?
I can. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. So hold up. Now I should be able to flatten this. Yep, there's flatten. It was gray before. Ooh, I don't like this. This is scary time.
So you can use sign and seal, which sets document properties of disallowing you to do any of these edits with a password. Just so you're all aware of that. That is the batch sign and seal. Or you can not do it in batch, sign with stamp and signature, and then go to documents and set a security, which requires a password for anyone to make edits.
Right. So let's go back to the signature tab. It's showing signature not yet verified. It is showing the exclamation point.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming when you save it, you'll get a new revision.
Yeah, after I save it. Save, boom, there we go. So it went from yellow, it went to red. Now there's an X there instead of an exclamation point, telling me that it's been updated since signed. So some interesting things happened there, and I don't think I was talking through them as I did them. I did do the white rectangle, which did block it out, but once I flattened it, it went behind the signature. But I was still able to add text. I was able to remove parts of the document, right? Because I had changed that preference here, tools, signature, restrict changes that invalidate digital signatures. So if I'm an IT admin and I'm pushing out preferences, remember how we can push our company preferences to everybody? I want to make sure that's enabled. And that should be enabled by default as well, because this is kind of dangerous.
I would assume it is by default because ours was already there and we just installed it.
Yeah.
So. Why is it dangerous, Alex asks?
Because if this was an invoice, right? Let's say this was a real invoice and it wanted me to pay $100. I could go edit the text and say it was $20. You still see the signature. If I print this and we take this away from the digital world, it's still signed, right? So there's some tomfoolery that could be abound. So it's invalid, but it should still allow me to print it or rescan it. There are ways to make that not cool. Yes, the digital signature is invalid, but I can still print this. And when I print this, it will still contain that signature. So notice I did also change my preferences back, right? So it still lets me print. Okay. Let's go to the third level here. So I've digitally stamped, which we saw first. I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm going to check it back in. Totally messed up everything. And we'll check that back in. All right. So we digitally stamped. That's where we dropped in the stamp using the stamp tool. We digitally signed. This is where I didn't actually show you this workflow. We opened up another document, and now we're going to go.
Mine, so
yeah, we're going to go to the third one, and I'm going to digitally certify this. Now, the certification, it's the most secure, right? We're going to add encryption to it. It's going to give it more weight. It should, in theory, restrict some of the usage. So I'm going to go ahead and create another document real quick, and then I'm going to put that into our project, and then I'll switch screens with Michael, and he'll be able to do things. So let's go back to let's RFI. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my typewriter tool, drop in today's date.
That's because there's no form, right? you're using typewriter.
Yeah. Well, I like the typewriter tool, but while we're in here, let's go use that tool and auto create form fields. There we go.
You're gonna want to exit out, yeah. Panel.
Oh yeah. Gets me every time.
Yep.
23. Whoa. Oh. Because the field was already set up.
That's how they put that field, yeah.
Oh, that's dirty. I don't like doing it that way. That's too.
I don't. Yeah.
It is what it is. 2, and this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And from there, can you manipulate this? Look at me with the big words. This is a test of document certification. Oh man, that was too much pressure. I almost had it though. I was going to be so proud of myself.
I'm proud of you.
Aw. And then I'm going to go ahead and sign this. Now, notice the signature field. It wasn't here before, right? I did that automatically create form fields tool, and it found the word signature and it put a signature box in here for me automatically. Otherwise, you would have to go in here to digital or tools, signature, sign document, place the box, and then you're going to get the thing here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and now it's going to ask me to sign in. If you haven't signed before, it's going to ask you to create a digital ID. Additionally, you can make a new one and do whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in here.
I know one person said it needed to say like digitally sign or something like that for their jurisdiction. So you can add, fields in here under your signature that have verbiage too. So
correct. And that's what we're going to manipulate a little bit here. So notice there are 2 signature types: digital signature. This is what I did earlier, and document certification. So our stamp was level 1, digital signature is level 2, document certification is level 3. Now with that, there are more things happening, right? Permitted changes after certifying. No changes allowed. Fill-in forms and digital signatures. Markups, fill-in forms, and digital signatures. So depending on what you select determines what the next person is going to be able to do. So in a situation where I had multiple people who were going to sign this, I would still want to allow their digital signatures, right? Or if it's something more pressing, nobody can change anything, right? So I'm going to allow the middle version, fill-in forms and digital signatures. I don't want Michael to be able to remove text or remove my signature, but I want him to be able to fill in a response and then sign it, right? We'll see how this works. Now I have options in here. What's the reason that I'm certifying this? I'm approving, I've reviewed, I tested accuracy, blah, 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 right? Oh, that's a good point, Jared. Before I do this, let me double check. So I'm going to go place another signature block for Michael to do his thing. See, that's
just
not
say
going to work.
cancel, escape.
Oh yeah, I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking. I need to go create one of my forms.
No, that's good there. It's there.
Good. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you said you can add a signature either way, where you're acting as if you're going to sign. You just hit escape. You're not filling out that specific one.
Yeah. There we go. Test. Okay. I can add location, contact info, whatever. And then I do have appearances. So if I want to edit my appearance, this is where I can choose a graphic. So sometimes people add a graphic for, a scan of their signature or their company logo, like I've done. You can choose to have it sort of watermarked. You can manipulate things a little bit. You can put your distinguished name, your location, your alignment. You can manipulate this a lot of different ways. You can put the Bluebeam logo in there. You can go nuts with this, and it will save, which is kind of nice. But I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. So this is the document certification. I'm going to hit OK. Now, when I do this, it's going to force me to save this. So we're going to call this digitally certified.
And Jared's on fire here. There was a question about, can you staple PDFs together? And my thought before Jared replied is, well, you're creating a new document by adding more to it. But it's exactly what Jared came in and said. No, you cannot add PDFs together after it's been certified, because you're creating a new file that hasn't been signed certified in its new state.
Correct. Correct.
Mic drop.
Yep. And that sort of goes along with Bluebeam Studio sessions as well, right? You can't add pages because if somebody reviewed it, they leave and then you go add pages, that they don't know, right? It's no longer an appropriate thing.
And then another one was you can create a PDF package or put them in a Bluebeam set to view them like a single combined file.
Correct.
Yeah,
so
PDF package is an underutilized thing. It's a zip file essentially, but at a .pdf extension. Yeah, cool tool.
So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to drag that up in there. So now we have digitally certified. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share.
PDF packages are proprietary to Bluebeam.
There we go. So share
like
your
to
screen
create
again.
them, create PDF packages.
Yeah, it's creating them is
open.
Bluebeam.
Yeah, Isaac says you can open them.
Which is weird. You would think that other platforms can create them as well if they can open them. All right.
Yeah. What am I doing? Okay.
Open up, share your screen, and open up that refresh. Oh, Adobe just calls them portfolios. All right. All right. So now we have a certification. Notice a different heading there too.
Here, yeah. So you have where you signed and where it's certified. And remember, it created a copy of this when it was uploaded, so that's why it automatically didn't get green. So anyways, we're learning. So I can check this out, okay? And no markups, which is what I'm assuming you did, right? But I can fill out forms, right?
Yeah, look at that. So when I created it, when I certified it, I turned off his ability to do markups in here, but he still can fill out the forms because that was a setting, and you can see there, fill in forms, digital signatures. So depending on, oh, can you? Then did that overwrite inside of the studio? After you
I guess it's saved over because when you sign it, it's creating a new copy. But so mine's green checked. So check in. We'll see if it's green for you since it was already in here and signed, right?
Yep. Interesting.
The other one, though, for those folks, just quickly, before I toss this back to Mr. Artley, one, I'll just add this as like it's between 2 and 3 workflow is the batch sign and seal. This will allow you to go through and add a seal and signature all in one fell swoop. So unfortunately, this is just not the right size, but you can go through and sign it and seal it from this area, which also, I don't think it certifies it. Well, I'll have to hit OK here. I'll hit cancel because I don't want to overwrite this one. Desktop here real quick. Save. Yes. The best part about this is that you don't have to place a stamp, apply to all pages, and then go and digitally sign it, right? Everywhere. So if I just go here, paste this here, you can add a date to it if you wanted to, which I want to put a date everywhere. There was already one on the stamp. That's fine. I'll hit OK. And it's going to go to each page in places in the same location and also sign it in the same location. So it'll go through and process this. I've never had it take forever like this. So maybe review froze and it did. Anyways,
So
it'll go
in
through
that-
and sign it.
Comment from Jared. So you have to type at the top. So if you look at the left panel, type digital signature, there's a pull down there to also allow digital certification.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So it does do that level 3 that we're talking about in a little different manner, right?
Yeah, and
Because
if it
this is
doesn't,
batching the whole set. Are you locked up?
yeah, it crashed me.
So Alex has a question. What level of review 21 do you need to batch, sign, and seal? And that is still complete. I reckon it used to be extreme. Oh man, now see every time I doubt myself.
I think you're right. I'm just gonna check.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. Batch, sign, and seal automation right there. So you do need complete. Thanks for the question.
So I'll stop share, pass back over to you to see. It may not have checked it in though. I'll quickly do it. I just gotta force close this.
Force close. All right. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to refresh again. And we see that digitally certified. I'm going to go ahead and double click this to open it.
I don't think I checked it in. So let me end task.
Okay. Wait. Oh, you're looking at your Samtec one?
Yeah, it's because it crashed.
Okay.
No, there it is. There's my sign. So it did sign it, but it's
Yep.
not green. Rev 2. Yeah.
It's not green. It does show the Rev 2. It does say the document is still certified. Right. And notice it has, well, I've got a different icon because I'm the one that signed it. Right. It's reading my certificate. But here, signer's identity is unknown, authority, whatever, same thing. I can go in here and install that certificate.
I think I still have to send it though, because it didn't, or I guess it just
Import was successful. Okay.
But that doesn't change color. Like, what does my question would be? What does that do to? Yeah.
Because
Jared, help us out.
It shouldn't
What does that
say
do?
unknown anymore. Okay.
Click the validate signatures at the top of the signature panel.
This guy. Validate signatures. It flashed something.
Yeah, it did something.
Interesting. So it's still signed. It doesn't have any warning.
Install their certificate again.
Okay.
It may not work because we're in this project though. Too.
Oh, yeah, that could be it.
That would be choose a location, go back.
Oh, going too fast. Choose in the following store.
What stores you got?
Oh boy. Show physical stores. Hold up.
Probably trusted root certificate authorities.
Trusted root.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh. You're about to install a certificate from a certification authority, CA, claiming to represent Michael Chave. Blah, 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 blah. If you install this, Windows will automatically trust any certificate issued by this certification authority. Sure.
I like the abbreviation because it says CA.
Oh, and there we go. I hit validation again. Now we've got green. Signature is valid. All right. Interesting. We're going down a path we haven't gone through before, and this wouldn't have been possible without you, Jared. So thank you today for helping us out with this. Because as always, we get into rabbit holes when we get into situations like, hey, I haven't been here. Michael and I don't work in the industry anymore, so this is all sort of Interesting. So yeah, our final trick here is to test what Alex just asked about. Can you revalidate a signed PDF that's been turned regex? So my goal is to see what I can do to this, right? It is still locked, so I need to check this out. Check it out. There we go. And now let's see if I can do anything. References. My cat.
I don't think this breaks it though, because it's not a regex, because you allowed that markup instances of filling in the forms. He's talking
Right.
about the regex, yeah.
But I'm, even though I'm the original author of this thing, notice that the markups are still removed. I cannot go in here and erase content. I can't edit content. I still can snapshot, but can I paste it? No.
And Jared answered the question. You're on fire today. Appreciate you. He said you have to re-sign it or undo the changes to get the doc back to the state it was originally signed in. Yes, I think it comes back to just understanding that, the purpose of certifying or signature is the state being sent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And any changes or modification to that state break the certification or the signature.
Correct.
Because it's a new state.
Yes. So going through, just to recap, 3 different levels of using digital stamps and or signatures here in Revu. So level 1, least secure, use your digital stamp and create something that has your name, your seal of approval, right? That could also just be an approval stamp. It doesn't have to be an actual, the round engineering stamp. This same approved stamp or approval stamp, which it's not going to let me do in this file. Let me go back. I'm going to close that other one. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to undo my checkout. There we go. If I go back and I stamp this one with this approval stamp. Oh, sorry, not checked out. I'm going to go over here. Stamp. Approval stamp. There we go. This one. I don't want to use that one. That's a client one. Where's the one?
That looked good with some radio boxes.
This one. Here we go. This is approved, right?
Oh, this is a radio box. Sorry, I meant checkbox before.
Yeah. So this one, it says stamped by me. Jason's approved it, right? Again, this is just a stamp. There is no certification. There's no locking involved. I can flatten this, and that's about as secure as I'm able to get. Now, even with it flattened, someone could come along after me and go ahead and erase that content. They can put things on top of it. It is the least secure. However, it is still technically approved, right? So if you know that you're going to have multiple people doing things, it's usually my recommendation. Second level is digital signature, right? This is still going to allow changes, but it is still encrypted, and there are some certificates that we saw that get recorded in the signatures tab where you can verify identities. Third level, most secure, most encryption is going to be to digitally certify, right? This is where you're going to set up your settings, set up your everything that we just went through, and that's going to prevent the changes unless you want changes, and that's going to allow that. So how you sign this, think about who else is going to be interacting with the file. That's going to help you make sure that you're not going to run into these issues, because we get a lot of support tickets saying, well, I can't move blocks. I can't add details. Somebody's already signed it. Well, yeah, somebody's already signed it. What did you expect? So be careful with that. But this has been a great topic. Thanks for the chat folks and Jared and Alex and everybody for pitching in and helping this be very interactive today. We're at time. So with that, I want to say have a happy and safe Memorial Day. Don't forget why we get to celebrate that. It is a important day for our nation's history and all of the brave men and women who made this country what it is. And with that, what else you got to say, Michael?
Just Jared, make sure in the comments of the survey you put a good email address for all of your help table reach out to you. But other than that, thank you all. Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. And remember why Memorial Day is so important, like Jason was saying, just echoing onto that. And thank you all.